Right, we are live on
Here we go.
the Facebook. I'm going to go mute. It's all you, MVO.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Cantina Intergalactic Newsdesk. We have a really fantastic show for you today. I'm Mark Von Olen. I'm one of your hosts. I'm here with Gary O'Toole from Blob of the Hut. Hello there, Gary.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Good.
We're
How's it
back
going?
again. Yeah, all is good. It's going to be an interesting episode. The news is coming thick and fast, and announcements I think are going to continue to ramp up as we get closer to D-Day.
Yeah, we're less than 2 months out, which is very exciting. I kind of can't believe it. But yeah, we have a lot of great things to discuss, including some fantastic guests with us.
We certainly do. So we are delighted to say that this is our Cantina episode. But before we get going, Mark, congratulations to you on this being your first show as lead anchor for the Intergalactic Newsdesk. I have no doubt it's going to be an exciting time under your leadership, and hopefully I can be a reliable Chewie to your hand. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate it. For everyone wondering, though, Spencer is still behind the scenes keeping tabs, and he is here in the chat. So if you have any questions for me or Gary or any of our guests who we're going to introduce in a second, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll ask the best ones on air today.
Shall we introduce the guys? So this is our Cantina episode, and for those who may be in the know, in 2016 the hashtag Cantina trended worldwide, and we are delighted to say that the guys who happen to be friends of ours are coming along to have a chat and tell us a little bit about hashtag Cantina too. So we are delighted to be joined by Martin Keeler, Jed Shepherd, and Mark Hamilton from ASH. So guys, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and chat again. And once again, thank you from all of us for putting on what is going to no doubt be a worldwide trending event again.
Hey,
Awesome.
thanks for having us.
Thanks. We've got to stop meeting like this, Gary.
Yeah. I'm very excited about the Cantina, even though I'm probably not going to be overseas. There's still this like, will I be there? Will I not be there? Assuming that I'm not there, I'm going to get all of the info from you guys about Cantina. It's Sunday, April 9th. At the Indigo at the O2 Arena, the world famous O2 Arena. I'm an American and I know what the O2 is, so that's incredible. The regular O2 capacity at the Indigo is like 1,800 standing or 2,800 seating is what they're saying.
That's it.
And we've got VIP packages up for sale and ticket info. We're gonna put a link in the chat for everyone who wants to get tickets, but we want to have you guys tell us all about this event. But first, let's do some proper introductions. So Martin Keeler is the owner of the Zoovium, the only museum dedicated to Constable Zuvio. And wow, is that a deep cut character? I love him.
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
I have all the action figures that were left on shelf during Force Awakens. So
do you?
Yeah,
well, I'll have to make you an offer then, because I'm at 406 now.
It's amazing. We could do a whole show on just that character.
I've got a little tidbit on that. There are still Constable Zuvio Black Series in the Coles in Jersey City. So if you're that's not far from you. If you want to just hop across the water, you can get them.
If we do a show where we hunt weird deep cut characters from Star Wars around the various stores in the country, I think that could be a whole fun episode, because you never know what you're going to find in like what used to be a Toys R Us. When they were open, they would have stock that would go back 6 or 7 years and it wouldn't even scan anymore. And it's like, who let this inventory sit here? There's a reason they're bankrupt. We're also joined by, so there's Martin, Jed Shepherd, who is a writer and director and working, of course, on Cantina 2. And then Mark Hamilton, otherwise known as Mark from ASH, from the rock band ASH, who we talked before the show. I saw perform with David Bowie and Moby back in the Area 2 tour in like 2002. Amazing. So thrilled to have you here.
Thanks for having us. And Mark, every time you say probably not going, it does give me hope that you will be coming.
I'm trying to will it. Going to my senior managers being like, you need to send me Jedi mind trick, and they're like, there's no money. But we're working on that. We also have like a really competent team in our UK office who can handle it without me. So if I'm not there, it'll be personally sad for me, but they will make it work. And we will have a booth. I'm working on all that execution right now. We'll have all of our product on display, but we'll make do either way.
We need to set a Kickstarter or something to
Kickstart.
get you across.
Oh boy. That would be very embarrassing. But while everyone else is getting ready for their preparations for celebration, I'm part of the Team America, as we started calling it. So me and Jeff and Dave and Ashley Branzo, my co-host on Rebels Revisited, we're all going to be here doing the news desk, taking care of all of the news that is sent to us from you guys who are overseas. So as news gets announced at the show, as information comes our way, as pictures and videos, we will be reporting that to everyone here who's missing out on the show. So hopefully we can give you like a virtual experience for anyone who can't make the trip over to England.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so let's get into the real topic of tonight's show, though, not celebration proper, but the Cantina 2, which is shaping up to be a really fantastic after party, and a big one at that. So first off, Martin, tell us a little bit about what the first Cantina was. My understanding is that it started in 2016. How did that come about? What is it about? And what can we expect to see in this Cantina?
Yeah, so the first one in 2016 came from me coming back from Anaheim after the big Force Awakens celebration, meeting up with Jed and Mark. Mark had been to previous celebrations, but hadn't been to them sort of since they blew up to what they are now. And I was berating the fact that in the UK, we tended not to have the after parties in the way that the American conventions have. And I think they've got even bigger since we had that discussion. So late night in a pub, I think the conversation ended somewhere on the lines of Mark saying, if you organise it, Jed and myself organise it, then Ash will headline.
If you build it, I will come.
Yeah. And I reached out to Mary Franklin and kind of went, I've been set this challenge. Ash have said their headline, and fair play to Mary. She emailed back in 10 minutes. I won't quote the exact phrase, but it was something like, I really like Ash. But I think there was a few shorter, sharper words in there. And she basically said, if you can organize it, we'll make sure you get some support on it. So that's how it came about. It was brilliant. And it was just a great night. We had Darth Elvis and the Imperials play, Blues Harvest play, very much in their infancy, I think, compared to what they're like now. I think if you went to Chicago, you saw them sort of really grow. Everything was sort of Star Wars related. It was in this brilliant venue, it was a lot smaller than the one we're in now. Had a capacity of about 1,000, but it was a proper music venue with a bowling alley attached to it. So you had this weird combination of people bowling whilst the bands were playing, and we had some of the guys who had been in Star Wars in sort of the VIP area, but they all came out and joined the masses, and it was just a crazy night, wasn't it, Jed and Mark?
Yeah. And we also had cocktails. We had Star Wars cocktails, and the takeout at the bar was the biggest that venue had ever had as well. Yeah. So it's funny when we put on these concerts, which is obviously not often. It's always like, can you do this again? Can you do this again? Do we have to wait till the next time celebrations back in the UK? So the first one went mega well, as Martin said, really well, better than we'd ever expect it.
That's fantastic. So Jed, tell us a little bit about what the lineup is looking like for Cantina 2, which 7 years later, that's a long time to build a sequel. And I know some familiar names are returning and we have some new people. I'd love to hear about everyone who's going to be performing and what the plan is for this one.
Yeah, so because the first one went so well, we're always big on like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So sorry, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's the right way around. So it's why would we change something that works so well? So everyone is a little bit further along in their careers. Everyone's better at what they do. So we just thought, give the people what they want. Let's bring out the same lineup. But obviously we are more experienced ourselves, a little bit older. We know how to do this now. Previously, 2016, even though it went swimmingly, me and Martin were pretty scared because we were like, do these two worlds kind of colliding work? Like Star Wars and this concert and this kind of atmosphere. And it really did. So now we know what we're doing. And now Mark is on board as a formal co-collaborator. We just have more ideas on the table. And Martin is usually the kind of... he's the sensible one out of us three. So me and Mark are like, and this spaceship will just fly in, and Martin was just like, no, we can't do that. We could do a version of that, but maybe not that. So basically, this time around, we have the exact same lineup,
but more.
Yeah, we have there's going to be special guests, some announced, some haven't been announced, joining the bands on stage. We are going to have the DJs as well as multiple DJs. DJ Elliot, who played last time, was really good. So DJ Elliot's back. We've got a couple more.
Level Up Leroy.
Level Up Leroy, yeah. And we've got Atomic Blonde playing the VIP DJ kind of area. Then last time, I would say if there's one area we could have improved on, it's theming. This time we are making up for that. So there's going to be a lot more theming around the venue. Even though, it's a venue, there's only so much you can do, but we are using the resources, we're using the things around us to make it a totally immersive experience. And we have more, like I'm a filmmaker. I have more contacts than I used to have, so I am tapping into those film contacts in order to make the theming of the place look as good as possible. I mean, most people will be drunk anyway, so they probably won't appreciate the artistry we're going to put into this, but like we want it to look good. So as well as that, all of that, and obviously cocktails coming back and the exclusive merch that we're going to have. The VIP area is one thing that has changed from last time, because the VIP area, you pay a little bit more, but you get prime seats. You get prime seats right at the front of the balcony, and people might think, oh, it's better to be downstairs. Sometimes it is. In this case, you want to see everything. So I would say front row, it's called the King's Row.
King's Row, yeah.
You really are treated like kings. You pay a little bit more, but not a lot compared to what other people charge. And what you get is an amazing view of the craziness that's going to happen that night. Plus, you get your own bar, and you get with access to all those cocktails. You'll also get a after party with DJs, special guests. You'll get to meet people from the Star Wars world, because they're obviously going to come to the after party. You get to meet people in the Star Wars community as well, podcasters, and other people like that. You might even get to meet Martin if he isn't drunk and under like out the back somewhere.
And those VIP tickets are still available, right?
There are some available, yeah.
Okay.
But act fast, because I mean, I would say a lot of the prime ones are gone, but you still got some of the ones, maybe the next row back.
Gotcha. Spencer's saying he's in the second row VIP, and I don't know if that's like a fishing to try to get to first row, or if he's saying that they're selling fast, because he's quick. So I'm surprised that he's not like backstage already. So,
well, he's going to be very much looked after, because like another thing we're giving to VIP, so Spencer will have this, is a goodie bag. And I think, have we mentioned what's in the goodie bag?
Yeah, I mean, there better be patches, otherwise I'm going to throw a fit. So
no, we can't say that yet, because we always like to surprise people. But what you're guaranteed is there's going to be an exclusive hashtag Cantina badge. You'll get the VIP lanyard, is what we know, so people can see you're in the VIP area. That's all we've said at the moment, but we think there might be some more stuff in there.
Also, besides having your own bar, which will be full of surprises, you have your own entrance into the venue. You'll see everyone else lining up, but you have your own special door with red velvet curtains on it, and with your own people ushering you in. You don't necessarily have to.
You don't even have to look at them as you walk in.
That's it. Yeah, you just sort of wave past. Yeah,
and it really, really is a VIP experience, because don't forget, Prince played at this venue. Prince's mates will probably wait through that entrance. So you're on hallowed ground.
It's the O2. It's the MSG of England.
Yes, it is.
Or I would say the other way around, probably. Like MSG is the O2 of America. So I mean, this is an iconic venue, and it sounds like it's going to be so much fun. I'm excited that, look, I know Blues Harvest like a little bit. We just had them on the show last week. I know Darth Elvis, Level Up Leroy. This is a fantastic lineup. Ash obviously is performing, which then that brings me to my questions for Mark. I have so many questions for Mark. We're gonna have to do a whole separate show. My first question though is, how did these nerds convince you to be a part of this thing? How did this all start? 2016, you're like a super cool rock star. What happened here? Tell us everything.
I've known Jed for probably a good 25 years. Since we started first coming over to London and doing shows and stuff, and Jed was always there, and I got to be friends with him.
Can't get rid of him.
Yeah, Jed actually wrote the script for a slasher movie, which we shot on tour once called Slashed. And actually, we shot a bunch of that on the Area 2 tour. That
I was going to say that,
earlier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And and then also Jed helped curate our 20th anniversary sort of like all-day event, which we held in London, which was called actually hashtag #Ash20, which is where the kind of like the sort of like hashtag thing
comes
came from for Cantina, because it helped it trend.
Oh yeah.
And so it was a really creative, non-conventional show. It was like we ended up doing like 3 or 4 sets during the day. We did like karaoke with the fans. We did an acoustic show. We did our first album in the sort of like a top bar room, and then we did like the evening show in the main hall. There was a partial movie screening with like a Q&A. There was a covers band there. There was a lot of things went on. So it was like a real day event for the fans for the 20th anniversary. So I just knew that Jed like thinks outside the box. So like for doing the first Cantina, there was a lot. It wasn't just a regular show. It was, anyone who was there can attest to that. There was a lot going on, and not what you would expect at a regular Ash show.
Well, Gary was there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think for me wanting to get involved, I just like wanted to like up the ante for this time for like the Cantina 2, like to have a lot of like spectacle, a lot of sort of like Instagrammable sort of like, social media moments that you're going to want to like spread and make your friends jealous of. And
yeah, I'm feeling the
that
FOMO
kind of thing
already.
And also it's like we didn't approach the first one like a regular show, in that to us it felt like more like a festival, because it wasn't just our own captive crowd. It was, it was a crossover of, I'd say like Star Wars nerdy kind of fans who, and then I'm not saying obviously there is a crossover there, but then we also had like just Ash fans, and then so it was like that. And where am I going with that? Oh, I think so. We were approaching it more like a festival.
Yeah, it does.
But it's like a mini.
one.
It's like a mini music festival for Star Wars music and Star Wars fans.
And a variety of genres. That's what's so interesting. Like Blues Harvest and Level Up Leroy couldn't be more different, other than the intersection is Star Wars. And same thing with Ash, right? Like, oh, so I was going to ask you, like, are you a big Star Wars fan? Obviously, your first album is titled 1977, and for anyone in the fandom, like, the first thing I thought was like, that's the year Star Wars came out. I know other things happened in like world history that year, but like nothing was more important than that. Is that where the inspiration came from for the title?
Yeah, the sort of like the short story was we didn't have a name for our title for the album, which was our kind of debut album, and the record company were like, if you don't give us a name, a title like today, then the album's going to get pushed back a couple of months. So we were right up against the deadline. We couldn't think of anything. We were like, hold on a minute, because Tim and I were both born in 77. And then we were like, oh, this is like a really fundamental year for us, because it was the year Star Wars was released, and then also it was kind of like the year that punk broke. So there was like a sort of like trifecta of reasons to call it that. And then that just made sense.
Very cool. Are you going to perform anything from 1977 at?
Oh, of course.
Cantina?
I mean,
of course.
Yeah. I mean, there's like we actually without permission stuck a TIE fighter at the beginning of that album, which we got away with. Didn't get sued for it, which we were lucky. And then so that kicks off the album into like a song called Lose Control, which we play a lot. So I mean, no doubt we'll be doing that. And there's also another Star Wars sort of themed song, which is the final song on that album, called Dark Side Light Side, which actually I think there's like a section in the end where actually that kind of little line comes in at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, and then there's
they'll demonetize this whole video just for those 3 seconds. Okay. Don't worry. So yeah, we'll be sued into oblivion tomorrow.
So there's those 2 songs off 1977, but there's also a bunch we actually covered the Cantina band music, which was a B-side.
Oh, that's fun.
So we'll be doing that, and then there was also we were the first non-John Williams music in Star Wars with the clone song for Republic Commando. So that will be. No, that we'll be rolling that out as well with a special guest actually on the night. We haven't announced who, but someone who's a Star Wars person will be playing with us on stage.
Very cool. I know that there's a lot still brewing and you can't announce everything yet, but more guests are coming. If you do have any reveals that you'd like to reveal on this show, we'd love to hear
it. Well, we have revealed Mike Quinn. We've done that previously. So Mike Quinn,
love him. He's tremendous.
So I can't reveal what he's going to do, but it's amazing.
He is a master puppeteer. He's not a voice actor because he doesn't do the voice of Nine Nub, but
Yep.
he is crafty and interesting, and also just like fun to follow on Facebook. Like he interacts with the fans a lot, and he says a lot on Facebook, and he's a blast. And he would sign autographs all the time for us when I worked at Tops.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that he's going to be there, along with like. By the way, the stack of 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi signers that they brought out, I was very impressed with. I was like, I love all of these crazy people, especially my Caroline Blackiston, my Mon Mothma. That's one of my deep cut characters who I love. So I'm glad that character is getting all the attention. And that Caroline, they're bringing out Caroline. She's like 90 years old. Like she's gonna have a line around the O2. It's gonna be like that crazy.
See, I want to get this isn't anywhere near even being approached yet, but I personally want to get Mike Edmonds to hashtag Cantina and try and get Blues Harvest to play the safety dance, because Mike appears in that video originally.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow,
so it would be
cool.
incredible. I don't think Mike's perhaps at the same stage where he can do the prancing around as he did in that video, but just to have Mike on stage while the safety dance are playing would be one of my ambitions. That's not an announcement, by the way. That's just saying I personally want to see.
Mike Edmonds headlining at the Cantina too.
But Mike Quinn, he's locked in. He's he's working really closely with the Blues Harvest guys because he knows them quite well already. He did an appearance at the 501st Bash, or was it All Costumers Bash in Anaheim, but he's doing something very different to what he did there. He did Rebel Yell there, but he's definitely doing something amazing on the night, which I'm giddy with excitement about, and leaning into the puppeteering side.
Can we really not say any more of the guests? Can we really not say someone we've confirmed? No,
not yet.
Okay.
That's all right. We'll have you back, or we'll put a post. By the way, for all breaking news around Celebration, this Facebook group is very good at staying up to date, and we have our ears to the ground and all of our contacts out there in the wild. So when you have information, if you want to blast it out to our 46,000 members, you can announce here, and you'll get a lot of questions and comments and a lot of love.
Well, so I don't know if it's teed up yet. So if Spencer's in the background now, this will put the pressure on. But we have got, like any good Star Wars event type thing or gig, we do have an actual final poster for Cantina that's not been revealed yet, which it looks like Spencer's jumped in. So there you go. This is what the official Cantina 2 poster actually looks like.
Can we zoom in at all?
I don't know, but that's going to be up in all its glory at the O2 early next week.
That's very cool.
Like proper cinema-sized posters.
Yep.
I got to get me one of those posters.
Yeah, I need one of those.
An autograph version. Because that's me. I'm the autograph guy. Like I
absolutely.
Autos, so,
can you see that it's actually the O2 as the Death Star?
It's so good.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Inverted, yeah.
There's so much to like dive into this poster, and I'm like literally sitting here with my magnifying glass. The guitar with the lightsaber cross is just perfect, though. That's gorgeous.
Yeah. So you've got all the sort of main acts there. It's all very Star Warsy. I love Darth Elvis in that picture as well.
Can I just say, Nick is going to town on that guitar, by the way.
Yeah. Nick does.
Yeah.
That's a very Nick picture. But yeah, we're really pleased with that. And it was done by Andy from Blues Harvest. We sort of just started talking about it, and it just grew, didn't it, Mark, into a thing of beauty.
It started off, it was like he had the original Return of the Jedi poster, and he was like, I want to kind of use that as a template and kind of like, integrate all the bands into it. And it came together really quickly, over the course of about a week.
Yeah, and just really quickly, the Cantina logo there is by my friend Cody Chamberlain, who is he's a comic book illustrator, writer, but he was the illustrator for like some of Shang-Chi and Deadpool comics. So the logo is really cool, and in the logo you might be able to see a hidden helmet in the middle of it somewhere.
Yeah, I can't for IP reasons. I can't see it. No.
Oh wait, no, that's more of a Mando kind of with the T visor.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Hashtag IP.
Yeah. It's just close. It's just far enough away because it's not Mando or Boba or Django or Bo-Katan. Like it's just a little bit. It's just a T.
Yeah. People just keep telling me I can't see it, but I can just see a T. Yeah. People keep telling me apparently it looks like a.
Yeah.
There you go. Wow, there's a zoom in.
I mean, could potentially match a new Mandalorian from season 3, I guess. But
See,
yeah.
this is where Mark gets embarrassed because you don't like seeing pictures of yourself, do you, Mark? Like, and he looks incredible in it. So Mark, one of the favourite things I like about Mark playing is he genuinely plays the bass like that. As you will have seen, other Mark, you've seen that he genuinely on stage strikes
without
that pose.
without the lead stuck into the guitar, just
Yeah, that's it. And the end of his bass lights up like that.
That's good.
That's the kind of trick. If you could do that on stage, people would lose their minds.
Well, Tim's Flying V does sometimes have that have flames coming out of it.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
He had a Flame V for a while, but that was around 2005, and the health and safety regulations in a lot of venues now are much tighter. So they just won't let him get away with it.
Yeah, I think about like small scale shows I've seen in the East Village, and Lady Gaga actually talks about something like this where they would shoot hairspray with like lighters and make like fireballs inside the venue. I was like, we're all gonna die in here, but this is real fun. You can't do that anymore. Like all that's over.
Well,
I don't know who created these rules. But...
I just saw a video yesterday of Lady Gaga performing and getting someone to puke on her while she's playing the piano. I thought that's what we should do for Cantina too.
That was at South by Southwest with all the colorful. Yeah, it was amazing. One of those performance artists. Yeah. By the way, sponsored by Doritos. Like there's a whole comedy bit around this thing because all right, so we're gonna go off topic for like I'll keep it short. Lady Gaga getting thrown up on by the colorful thing happening at South by Southwest was something that Demi Lovato came out swinging against because she had an eating disorder. And Kathy Griffin, the comedian who I love, I know she's controversial, was asked once who was really like a mean celebrity. And she was like, well, Demi Lovato's a problem and she needs to calm down about Lady Gaga getting thrown up on. So you're seeing like the crumbs going. A whole of the Demi Lovato fans who call themselves Lovatics, despite the fact that Demi Lovato is like a known alcoholic, and it sounds like that, right? And she's been very open about her struggles, right? Attack Kathy Griffin on Twitter with like some of the most vile stuff you'll ever see. It's this crazy, like multi-layered, insane story that like I'm like perfectly obsessed with, like just how it went from this to this. But yeah, so whenever anyone talks about like the Lady Gaga performance, I was like, oh, you don't know that Demi Lovato's fans tried to kill Kathy Griffin. Like that's what it goes. Like it's that nuts.
People on the internet are so dramatic and they just want to be triggered. They wake up and they are looking for reasons to be offended. It's like just chill out.
Yeah, I like it's music. It's supposed to be fun and controversial and provocative. Like it's supposed to be fun. Yeah. Like that's
it made me want some Mountain Dew. So
there you go.
Good advertising.
So yeah. All right, we have some real questions for you. Moving away from Lady Gaga, Kathy Griffin, and Demi Lovato. Back to the rock star at hand and everyone else. I know that Gary has a stack of questions for you guys. I think starting with Martin. So go ahead, take it away, Gary.
Well, first of all, guys, we should probably say where is the closest place that we can actually get tickets? Where is the best place to get them as of now?
Yeah, so basically, if you want to find out a bit more about it, go to www.thisiscantina.com, and then you've got links to the tickets there and you can read up a bit more. Or if you want to go straight in, go to www.axs.com and you'll be able to find it in the Indigo at the O2 listing. Really easy to find and get tickets. Basically, anywhere you go with hashtag Cantina on, it's got a link to the tickets. So yeah, just go there and get them. And they're £36 each for standing and the top of the balcony. You have to pay the additional fees that the O2 charge. I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head. Or £99 for the VIP experience, which nowadays is a very reasonable price for a concert.
For sure.
Because we very deliberately, it was one of the ethics we've got on it. We don't do this for a business. We have to make sure it pays for itself, but we don't do this to sort of fund a lifestyle or anything. We do this because we're fans. We try to make the price as affordable as possible because you're spending enough money at Celebration already, and we just want it to be inclusive, which again is another thing. It's not one of the costuming parties. It's not one of the come to us because it's our little group. This is an open concert for everyone. So we've got a lot of people coming to the concert who aren't going to Celebration, which we love because we think people will then want to go to Celebration because they'll get a little taste of what it's like when you come to Cantina.
We're tricking them to becoming bigger nerds is what I'm hearing, and I love it.
It's also kind of like the wrap party for the weekend because a lot of people will go home maybe after on the Monday afternoon after it finishes. So there'll probably not be a Monday night end party. So like the Sunday night is the big blowout. And also because it's bank holiday Monday, a lot of people will have the Monday off. So they'll be able to nurse their hangovers.
Yeah, and I
So-
can't stress enough how close the O2 is to the Excel Center. It is the nearest venue. You come out of the Excel Center, the west door, and you walk 2 minutes up the road, and there is the cable cars that go across to the O2. Get on that, and you're there. So you can see it from the venue basically, and if you're leaving Celebration and you don't want to pay the extortionate food prices at Celebration, you can pay the extortionate food prices at the O2 instead,
Which I'm sure will be better.
There's
Well,
actually more variety,
more variation.
range,
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
got like tens of restaurants there. Like,
Yeah. And what I'm going to do personally, I'm going to try and get for anyone that's going to Cantina and you can provide a ticket. I'm going to try and get discounts on the food stuff around the actual venue as well. So yeah, that's my mission for the next.
But it is
couple of
also. It sounds like we're saying the whole experience, but the cable car is across the Thames, so you do get a beautiful view of London, and of course the O2 in its enormity, you get the best
Death
view of the
Star.
O2.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do the cable car anyway.
Yeah.
For this, you've kind of got a reason to do it.
And guys, you've touched on a lot of different things there, but I think it's something that's worth honing into as well with respect to Cantina. You know, obviously amongst ourselves, we are huge nerds. We like our collecting, we like our autographs and things like that. For a lot of people that go to Celebration, it's the social aspect is the key focus for them, that they get to meet up with like-minded people and like-minded folks and attend the different events. So Martin, in terms of, as you've said the best bang for your buck and accessibility is very, very important, that you don't need to be, you know, let's say a member of any of the costuming societies, or you don't need to be best friends with somebody to get in. How critical was that in your thinking as well in putting on this experience, that this is, I know the poster says it's a gig for Star Wars fans, but I think expanding on that more, it is a gig for Star Wars fans, effectively by Star Wars fans.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing is putting on something we want to see. That's kind of where it started from. It's as selfish as that in some ways, but it's also, I think what it's grown to, and which I really like, is, you know, the bashes in America have become huge. And again, I've had some involvement in setting them up with the entertainment. The irony is they've got so large in America that most of the tickets are sold publicly anyway. But the first draft of them goes to the costuming groups. Well, I know when it comes back to London, there's slightly, quite rightly, I think, going back to this is a club meetup, and that's, you know, it's a much more limited ticket and it's sold out immediately, which is not a surprise. We've kind of said, well, that's good because we can fill the gap in the other way. We're for everybody, and to do that sort of Venn diagram of how it links, we're already getting some messages which I find really nice. Is it's a 14+ gig, but it's a proper gig, and we're getting a lot of people saying this is the first time I'm taking my family to a gig, because it's a very safe doesn't sound exciting, but it is. It's a very safe venue. It's a very corporate venue. It is a place, you know, you're not going to some dingy nightclub in the back. And there is a place for that. It's like Mark, Jed, and myself love those venues, but then we're equally not 14. Yeah, this is a place you can go with your family and you'll get the full gig experience, but it will just be a little bit more family friendly than normal. And people who don't normally do this, we found, go to this and go, I went to a proper gig, it was brilliant.
So we had that one
environment,
Yeah, we had that one comment where the guy said, hey, I want to go with my partner, but we're a little bit long in the tooth now. Is this going to be too much for us? Is there someone for us to sit down? It's like, yeah, you'll have the best seats in the house if you sit down. You'll see more things. You'll have your own private bar as well. You don't need to go everywhere. And it's,
I like that. I like having a chair.
Venue. Yeah, exactly. And I thoroughly recommend. I'll be sitting down as much as possible. And yeah, if any of you went to the 2016 one, you'll know how much of a positive atmosphere it was, because one of the things we haven't mentioned is it's not just a concert cool things to buy, cool things to drink. There's a narrative running through the entire night. You are part of this immersive story, and you'll see the story appear on screen, and it'll be themed, and there'll be people coming out on stage and doing things, and there'll be things in the audience perhaps where the story continues. And it's like Martin said, like, we are not doing this for we're not a corporation. We are not some faceless bunch of suits like somewhere in America. We just want this to be the coolest thing that we can make, that we would want to go to ourselves. So
that's kind of what our planning meetings are like. Me and Jed will be like, wouldn't it be awesome if we did this?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want. You know, like, and like, do we have the budget to do that? Can we afford that? Martin will be like, yes or no.
Yeah.
And then as they play on the night, they do it anyway.
Yeah.
I've been through those tough discussions as someone who's planned events, both for work and of course for fun stuff. And it's like the cool idea and then the actuality of the budget. And it's like, well, how do we just close this gap and find the right answer? But it sounds like everything you're doing is really cool, really interesting. I can have a chair if I want. Please. Look, I love a good standing general admission show, but there are times when I was like, my age starts with a 4 now, and I feel it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going to have so many amazing acts. Like, I'm going to need to sit down at some point.
But for the people that don't want to sit down, there's going to be a lot of, like, as we said earlier, like a lot of immersive elements to it, and things that you're going to want to be photographed around. And we can't really say just yet. And also on the narrative thing, this week we just locked in someone who's actually going to produce content specifically for the story element of the night, who is a real catch.
Yeah,
someone who's important in the community.
We have lots of teases to reveals on the news desk. So once we get confirmation on who we can announce, when we can announce, we'll make sure we put it in the Facebook group and everyone for you guys.
So I'm going to do something the opposite, because normally Jed and Mark look at me and say, can we say this, Martin? So I'm going to look at Mark now, and he'll tell me if I'm not over 79, but we're very conscious we live in an age of content being made from fans, aren't we? And it would be mad for us not to embrace the fact that there is a fandom that fuels the Star Wars, like you guys have said. You know, you bridge the celebrations by having content, and most people get their news and their stuff from YouTube channels and places like that. It'd be mad for us not to recognize that, wouldn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it would be silly of us to ignore that.
Yeah. I'll definitely stop there.
Can we have to bring up a very serious topic here, Martin, and before I move on to Jed, because Jed has actually touched on a topic that I want to expand on a little bit more. But I know you guys haven't revealed everything with the merch, but it was something that was commented on with us before, so I felt it only prudent to bring it up. Is there going to be a hashtag Cantina taco shirt?
Look, there is only one taco shirt. Like, you know, there's certain things I'm very protective of. Have I ever told you the story of the taco shirt, though?
Well, that's why I was bringing it up here. Would you like to explain the man behind the legend, effectively?
Okay, so Jed's cringing here. So no one will know this. So here's the background. I have a shirt which is plain white, and it has wonderful little tacos written all over it. It's the tackiest thing ever, and it's brilliant, and I love it. I bought it in a Target when I did a road trip across America. It cost me a whopping $5. And I think it's the best $5 I've ever spent, because everywhere I go, people stop. When I'm wearing this shirt, they stop me and go, that shirt's amazing. And I've only ever seen one of them. It was like in the clearance rail at Target. And to the point where, as you say, I got up on stage wearing it at Cantina, because it's a really easy way for people to see me. So one of the things I wore it for was, you know, Jed and I would be looking for each other. You can really see me when I'm wearing this shirt. And as you say, Gary, the taco shirt has become slightly the stuff of legends. All $5 of it.
It is. If you haven't seen it, it is amazing. So I think a hashtag Cantina taco shirt would be amazing. Jed, a question for you. You sort of touched on the theming, and that this will be much more than it reads as on paper. But what I'm curious about is, this isn't a gig in the traditional sense, is it? And what I mean by that is, when the first Cantina came around, we had this, what we thought at the time was essentially a really sizable venue. But despite that, you guys made it into what was a very close-knit and very tight atmosphere. And this year, we're obviously seeing a serious expansion in terms of the real estate, in terms of capacity. And, here you are pushing the boundaries and, as you say, raising the bar. So I was curious to say, with it still being, a gig for Star Wars fans, is this much more than a gig in the traditional sense?
Yeah, in a number of ways. The venue is bigger, our expectations bigger, but our dreams are bigger too. We want to fill it full of stuff that we want, that we would want to see while we're sipping on blue milk watching amazing bands play, because we want this to be special. Mark touched upon it as well. We want the people who are there to be taking photos of everything, of these weird experiences, and post it online with #Cantina. And people will not believe that these things are real. People will be so jealous of whoever comes to Cantina, genuinely. And like, some of the stuff we have planned, if we can pull it off even to 50% of the capacity that we think we can, then it is going to be truly memorable stuff. So we have more things for people to do, more things for people to see than last time. Having a bigger venue means you can do bigger things, and that's what we really aim to do. And I mean, it trended last time worldwide. We want that to happen again, but we want 7 years down the line, I think social media is even more integral in people's lives as well. So we really want people to almost tell a story with their night. Just like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And we will be around there giving goodies to people who really get into it, for like people who wear amazing cosplay, people are just, getting really into the night. There's prizes to be had. Not only that,
patches.
I'm hearing patches loud there, Mark.
Well, you know what it is? Every fan group has a patch, and I actually keep seeing them pop up in the Facebook groups now, of like people revealing their designs. And I'm trying to figure out how I go about wrangling a stack of them from the show. So it's one of my main missions.
we're very conscious of the people wanting exclusive things associated with anything to do with Star Wars and Celebration and Cantina. Because last time, maybe I was a little bit naive, and when we made the Cantina t-shirts in 2016, we didn't make not nearly enough. And those t-shirts are really iconic. And it didn't take long for me to design those t-shirts, and stuck it on some t-shirts and just sold out so quickly. And I don't even think, because we made 2 variations, I don't think I have both those variations, and I'm gutted. I've only got one of them. So this time we're making sure that there will be enough for everyone who wants one. And some variations as well, but also more than just t-shirts as well. We've got other things planned. And
hockey jersey.
That's cool. I really like that.
I was going to say, oh, Mark, don't say that. He's going to go off now, and
you're going to design one inventory. No, I get it. I have so many t-shirts, and it's actually one of the reasons I bought the hockey jersey from the network, was like, I have so many t-shirts. I need some other type of article of clothing. I'm a man in my 40s. There should be other things mixed in. But I love a good t-shirt. And with that in mind, for anyone who might not be able to be at Cantina 2 or Celebration, will the t-shirts be available to buy online? Like, do you guys have a merch shop associated with Cantina 2?
Mark's kid. I think we will keep some things exclusive, because we want to reward people who go to the gig. But I think there will be some things available, and maybe we have to talk about this. Maybe we'll do to make sure everyone who's going gets what they want. We might do a pre-order just so you can reserve it and pick it up at the time. But we need to discuss that.
Idea.
Because there will be queue. We don't want everyone queuing at the merch places and not watching what's happening inside the actual main venue. So it would be good if we can figure that out.
We're quite big on you have to be there to experiencing, because this is a live experience, and that's not to exclude people, but it, like as Jed said with the previous t-shirt, it almost feels like there's a little club of the people who got it. So when you go to an Ash gig, you'll still see it's like, bear in mind it was like 7 years ago, you'll still see like one or two of them. If it's particularly if it's in London, you'll see one or two people wearing this t-shirt, and you'll sort of walk past them and you can kind of like, like the t-shirt. And sometimes
Yeah.
I recognize Jed and myself and go, oh. Other times they're just like, oh, I went to this really cool gig, it's the only place I've ever seen this t-shirt. We're kind of going, yeah.
And that celebration last time, because we had Cantina on the Thursday, like we had the whole weekend of Cantina of celebration left. So at celebration, just you're in a big crowd and you just see 5 people in front of you having Cantina t-shirts. It's really good. And Mark has worn the Cantina t-shirt on TV shows, Soccer AM and other things as well. It's really funny just to see it out in the wild like that.
Oh, Twitter blows up, doesn't it, when he wore it on telly? It was like, he's wearing a Cantina t-shirt.
Yeah.
That's the power of Ash, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
From that perspective then, Mark, what is it like from the performance side of things in the build up to this? Because a lot of the talk and excitement has obviously been about clones, and rightly so. But when it comes to the night, the 2 guys above you there can effectively sit back, relax, and maybe have a couple of blue milks. But with you getting ready to go on stage, you can't. You've got to get ready for the performance and to put on a show. So what is it like from the performer's point of view in the build up to this? What is your sort of prep like to put on the show that you want to effectively?
Well, the good news is that we will just have finished a tour of New Zealand, Australia, and Japan. So we'll be like, it's not like we have been on a couple of month break and a bit rusty. We'll be well rehearsed and tight. So the show should be pretty slick for the most part. But then we'll also be doing some stuff that we never usually do specifically for Cantina. So that's the stuff that I'm more nervous about. I remember, funny story, I remember whenever we did the Phantom Menace rap party, you actually invited us to do it. This was like, what year was that now?
It's 1998, that would have been.
98, yeah. We had we found out like 2 days before that we were going to play at it. And we then were like, what are we going to play? So we quickly started to try to like learn the Cantina band. And it's like, most of the Ash songs are pretty straightforward. For the most part, easy punk rock songs, indie rock songs, certainly on the bass. So I had to then sort of like cram and start learning jazz bass lines, which I'd never played in my life, and try to just memorize it, like visually what it looked like. And then 2 days, 48 hours later, we were playing it in front of George Lucas. So that was quite nerve-wracking. So we'll be trying to scrub or brush up on stuff like that we have not played in a long time, and probably a couple of new things that we've not done before yet. And also on the sort of like special guest front, can't quite say what's going to happen yet, because we don't even, there's a few things which are still up in the air as to whether they'll materialize or not.
Mm-hmm.
So with the nature of celebration, and there being a lot of people that can be there, we've some things we might not find out until the day if it's going to happen.
I know you said that you had to learn a jazz bass line, but it's jizz bass line, right? That's
right. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yes, jizz. Yeah.
So Mark's learning how to jizz, which is excellent.
It's gonna be the whole quote from the episode, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's gonna be a meme.
I had 48 hours to learn how to jizz in front of George Lucas. That was it. That'll be the line.
On stage in front of him.
On stage. So Mark Nolan will understand this more than anyone, which is really good news talking to you about this. Mark Hamilton's very well connected. Jez is very well connected. I know the odd person. There's a lot of people that we know that will possibly be at Celebration or are at Celebration. But Mark knows better than anyone the schedules are locked down, and there is simple issues about security and getting things together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're not announcing people, because we've got some people who have, the way we talk about it internally is they've not said no. So
Right.
they want to do it. It's just whether
it becomes logistics.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through that several times, and the real trick is that you don't know when people are going to get pulled into PR beats, and sometimes they're very secretive. So case in point, Ian McDermott, the Emperor himself, signed for us at Star Wars Celebration 2019 in Chicago, all 5 days, all hours, all 5 days. And then like a couple days before the show, they said on one of the days we needed to compact his hours because he had to go to a panel, and the panel schedule was announced. And so I just ran the times as an intersection to understand what it was. And it was like, oh, he needs to be at the episode 9 panel. I wonder why. And so it turned, and of course, like that was the trailer where it played his voice, you know, of like the Emperor, like, you know, the chuckle, the laugh. And we had to like remove like 2 hours of his autograph signing because like all of a sudden we had a PR beat that we had to adjust for. But like, luckily it didn't ruin any quantities of tickets sold or anything like that, or really mess things up. But out of nowhere, you can get pulled into something like that and it completely throws off schedules, or you have to run to something and then you're late to a photo op and it creates like a Tetris effect on the board. Like it's kind of crazy. But I remember the Ian McDermott thing sticks in my mind because I was like, oh, he's in episode 9. Like it was like that. And good thing I didn't know that months ahead of time. Like I figured that out 24 hours before as like things sort of fell into place. But yeah, I fully understand why we cannot announce names. But we've got lots of, we'll call them pre-reveals. So special guests to be revealed. And we'll put that in the chat and everything on the Facebook page once we're ready to make a formal announcement.
Absolutely. And also we'd say you don't need the special guest is like the cherry on the cake.
No, this is a stack lineup already. It's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. And in fact, Mike Quinn's locked in, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. You're already getting to see something you don't get to see every day. This
is going to be really fun. I wonder, is there an opportunity to film any of this or put some of it up on YouTube or social media? I'm sure there's like rights and royalties and things like that to worry about, but if there's any way for anyone overseas to see some pieces of it, is Instagram live, like, because that evaporates potential?
So whether there's a professional version, I don't think so. But the whole event will be filmed because there's so many screens in this venue that they automatically get filmed anyway.
Okay.
So there will be footage. But at Cantina, actually, if you go to Ash's Facebook page, that's still on there. They live streamed the first 3 songs.
Oh, there we go.
Just from the Sound Deck. So
terrific.
My claim to fame is I sit on Ash's Facebook live page because we were being introduced just before Ash came on.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I can still say to my friends, look, that was me.
Am I on it?
Well,
I'm on it. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So before Cantina 2, everyone from our 46,000 Facebook fans needs to go to the Ash Facebook page, check out the live stream from Cantina 1, give it a look. This will be a little preview. We'll call it the opening act before we get to the main event, which, by the way, you guys are the closing event of Celebration, as Mark mentioned earlier. Boon to Eve is the opening event. So I feel like we have a nice bookend from the VCN opening up Celebration and you guys closing it out. That is just fantastic. We're thrilled to be a part of all of this. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and if I could just say, if those 46,000 people want to follow us on all of our socials,
yes, we'll drop them all in the chat. Yeah, we need all of your handles, and the variety of handles. So I want to follow Martin and Fantatrax and all the Let's get all of the socials on here, and we'll put them into the chat and everything.
Yeah, we'll do. Brilliant.
Do we have any questions for the group, Gary? Because we're approaching our 1 hour mark. Anything we want to ask them before we get into the other news beats?
I suppose the one thing we could ask is, guys, what are your final hopes for Cantina on the night?
I hope that it's actually going to, because we got so much amazing feedback from the first Cantina and people still talk about it. Like, I hope that we can sort of like do it again, but on a sort of, just on a bigger scale. And I hope that we are able to pull off some of this sort of like the spectacle elements that we're working on that we haven't talked about yet, because I'm excited for those more than anyone, because I want pictures of those things that I can share forever and make other people jealous that they weren't there to see it.
I think what I want out of this is just an ultra memorable show where people who wouldn't normally get to mix together. Like Martin said, there are people here who are just going to this gig. They don't even know what Celebration is. So there's going to be a whole mix of people. And hopefully the combining of the two worlds will make music fans love Star Wars, make Star Wars fans love the music that we put on show. And
good
also,
crossover.
The biggest thing is we need to see Darth Elvis off. It's his last ever live gig. So we need to make sure he goes off with a bang.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my hope is very simple. My hope is that Mark Bonolan's there.
I was going to say that you stole my thought, because my hope was that the GoFundMe goes through.
Yeah.
But no, in all seriousness, I wish you guys a fantastic show. I'm very excited about this whole lineup, and a little bit jealous and a little bit FOMO, but I'm also putting my force powers out there that maybe I'll be there. But if not, I'm sure it's going to be spectacular, as will Star Wars Celebration itself. In fact, if you guys can stick around for a couple minutes, we have a couple news beats from Celebration that I'd love to get your opinions on.
Yeah.
The biggest news that's happened in the past week has been the range of autograph guests that they announced for the auto hall for signing and for photo ops. Frank Rich, who runs Celebrating Autographs, is going to do an in-depth show on the network right here on the VCN on Monday. So he'll get into all the nitty-gritty, but I wanted to hit some of the highlights. For me, the most exciting one is probably Rosario Dawson, our live-action Ahsoka Tano. She was announced along with Billy D. Williams, Hayden Christensen, Ming-Na Wen, Gwendolyn Christie, Katie Sackhoff, and then that stack of 40th anniversary signers from Return of the Jedi. Is there anyone on that list you are super excited to meet? Or any of you, so one, are the three of you guys going to Celebration? Martin, I know you are. And if so, who are you buying autograph tickets for? And Hayden sold out. So if you didn't buy that, oh well, you're out of luck.
I'm going to get Gary's autograph, because I feel like we can't keep meeting like this and me not get it. So as Gary,
he is on the HoloNet stage, so he can sign autographs in there and throw them into the crowd.
And I think I have to have a 504 Kiner patch for you, don't I? Since I said I have one for Mark.
You did say that, yes.
I'll have to hand them all out. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, that's one of the things we sort of talked about earlier. Like, we obviously had like a few years of like weirdness with the pandemic and stuff. So like, Anaheim had a sort of like a big cathartic like meeting last year. So for Europe, this is like probably the equivalent. You know, the first year where it'll be like that kind of like real sort of like nerd social event. And so that's going to be good. I mean, I just from previous celebrations, you just meet so many people for the first time you've never met and make a lot of new connections and friends and stuff. So that's always, you can never foresee what that's going to be until it happens, you know?
Yeah, it's that friend building that Spencer talks about it all the time. This network exists because it was making friends at conventions and to find people to enjoy the experiences with. And we've all, like, I'm a licensee also, so that's how I originally met Martin. But it's through the convention circuit that I see these guys in real life, and we hang out and we have a great time. And some of my favorite memories from Celebration are like, it was like the podcast meetup. Like, that was better than any panel. And all the panels were great. But the podcast meetup, just hanging out with people in real life who I'll see on screen, it's wonderful. I also do want to fly over there just to meet Caroline Blackiston. Like, of all the things, like that is the fact that she's going is super fantastic. Mon Mothma, 90 years old, and a lot of other 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi signers, very cool, including Mike Quinn, who's going to be at the Cantina too. So it's shaping up to be a really good list.
I the person I would go for would be Gwendolyn. That's the one I think. That's because I don't think she's done many UK convention appearances. I think she's done some private signings, but I can't recall her actually being an in-person.
She hasn't done many. Weirdly enough, I was at a show with her, the one I took Hayden Christensen to in 2017 at Rhode Island Comic Con. She was also there, but she's done very few since. She's also having like quite the moment with Wednesday and Sandman. Yeah, she was incredible.
I'm going to jump in for a second. I want to see Martin do the Wednesday dance with Gwendolyn Christie.
That's what we've got planned.
Life.
That's the after show. That's the after show.
If Gwendolyn's up for it, I'm up for it. There you go. There's
but seriously, I mean, for me, I want to meet Ewan McGregor. That I would if he is announced. I mean, he should be. It would make sense.
He was the headliner in 2022. I would love if they brought him back for 23, especially if you could do a dual photo with him and Hayden. I think people would pay big money for that.
And also,
you didn't play guitar, don't you?
He does play guitar, I hear.
Yeah, it's interesting, that isn't it?
So, am I right in saying, Jed, that out of the three of us, you're the only one who hasn't met Ewan?
I haven't met Ewan. No.
Ah.
Yeah. But fingers crossed.
It's hard not to fanboy in front of you, because a friend of mine in California and myself in Boston last year, we were all set to say Gerald Kenobi when he said hello there, and we're both like, hi.
Yeah, I would melt. Like,
yeah, he's one of the few people, just not even in the Star Wars universe, just in film, who has star power. He just has star power.
Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah,
he's full of charisma. I can tell you something because I've said it on it before. I was stage manager at the last celebration. Very lucky to be doing that. So he famously came out, got like this. Him and Hayden got a massive round of applause that went on forever, and then blew the roof off by saying hello there.
Right? He knows what he's doing.
2 words and the place explodes. Yeah,
I can tell you, he wasn't supposed to say hello there. Right, so before he went on stage, he was basically supposed to say welcome to Star Wars Celebration. And if you watch the video, and he was like fully prepped, he's like one line, and then Hayden goes, "We're back," right? And he actually ran through it about 3 times and said, right, make sure I get this right, make sure I get it right, my one line. He walks out there and he was so clearly overwhelmed. And then if you watch the video, you see Hayden lean in and say something, which clearly is say hello there.
Yeah.
And
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. And then he went, hello there. And the roof went off. But over the headphones, all the Disney guys quite really going, what's he saying? What's he saying?
Yeah. Well, I will say the 2 of them look like trouble, right? Like you want to make sure they stay on script. You can tell, as someone who's wrangled talent, when certain people get together, it's like, no, I need you scripted. The 2 of them look like those boys. So, but I'm sure they're a blast, and they're wonderful people, both of them.
Well, Ash have worked with Ewan McGregor in the past, so there's a connection there.
Mark's got that look in his eyes, if I can tell you something.
Oh no, I was just talking about Ewan and Hayden together on stage. I'm looking forward to Celebration. I'm thinking that they've got to roll out Rosario and Hayden together.
Yeah,
because there's rumors, but like it's got to happen in the Ahsoka show. We got to get Force Ghost Anakin with Ahsoka.
That'd be so good.
Vegas odds on that are strong.
What is very interesting is that MegaCon is in Orlando the weekend before Celebration. And I don't know if it's public knowledge now, and I really don't care because it's on the net, because everything on the net is true. We all know that. Yeah. If you look at Epic Ops autographs, photo ops for MegaCon, there's a photo op with Rosario and with Hayden with the new Ahsoka logo behind them.
Okay, well that's
suspicious.
That means it's happening.
Or
just saying, it's on the internet.
Are they just trying to make money? Because I mean, they are the characters, right? You can place anyone together. But
Can you imagine a photo op if they did Hayden and Rosario, Ashley and Matt Lanter?
Yeah, I would love that. I would actually like the live action animation combo, like Hayden, Matt, Ashley, Rosario. Like that makes a lot of sense to me. Character specific. By the way, I actually booked the big photo for Clone Wars where it was Matt and Ashley, James Arnold Taylor, Kat Tabor, Matthew Wood, Tom Kane, like that big, like the Clone Wars core family in Celebration 2019. So if anyone was lucky enough to jump in with all 7 of them, that took me forever to organize. I don't think we could do it now because prices are way more, like it would be unaffordable. But get those things while you can, because they don't come around all that often.
What are we thinking in terms of the autograph hall? Are we thinking maybe 8 to 10 guests left, give or take, or you think there's going to be potentially more?
That's what OPX said. They're saying.
Yeah, I think about 8 to 10.
Yeah, that's a nice number, because I think we had over 60 in Celebration Anaheim, and some of those were after hours. It doesn't look like they're doing after hours again, or who knows. But like they have a nice range on this one. The saga's so big now, right? We have so many things to pull from.
Well, Martin can attest to this, and so do the rest of you guys over in Europe, is that you had like 25 signers in 2016, headlined obviously by Mark and Carrie, and then a lot of mid-level, lower-end actors, in the mix. This one is like beginning to end. It's starting the beginning of the saga all the way through the Disney Plus era. It's pretty like they're doing the right thing by staggering so they can get more people in. I particularly think that they're able to do this, but it's staggering. I mean, people are saying, well, the Excel's not much bigger than it was before, but yet they're looking like a 40-person autograph hall. I mean, what's your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, well, the XL's huge. right?
So
So
big.
It's gigantic.
Excel's like no different to the big convention centers that you guys are used to. And the reality is they've not used all of that area in the past. So if they're going to use the whole thing, then you've got space.
Because for 2016, there was an aircraft hangar size
Yeah.
space that they could have used.
Empty.
Yeah, and because I mean, I think because there's a lot of queuing that was going on, some of these big empty spaces was just for the queuing, and I think it could be used a little bit better. So that they could do a lot more with the space.
But also, just I know Official Pics are doing it now, but you know, Mark, you changed how you could do autographing and photos and make it more effective and more efficient.
Yeah,
So
thank you. I will have to credit mostly Epic Photo Ops for being able to execute the idea. The fact that photo ops give you a time window, it doesn't make any kind of sense that autographs at any convention in the year 2023 do not have timed autographs. I don't understand how this is not an industry standard when it's the industry standard for photo ops. It blows my mind. It's like so stupid and simple. I actually get like angry thinking about it, but yeah, we were able to do it timed autographs in 2019. And it's something that I think is really critical at something like Celebration, where you have some people who really don't do shows all that often. They're going to only do this event. People are coming in from overseas. Like this is not like a standard convention. Like if you're on the circuit for Fanboy, you'll go all over the country, right? This is like a very, very special event where they're still trying to keep Star Wars Celebration special. You really need to not spend 6 hours waiting in line for someone.
Okay, so
how does it work? How does the timed autographs work? Do you get like, is
you
it
get
a minute by minute slot? Okay,
yeah.
range,
So what happens if you make like 100 autographs available for sale and you estimate like each one is going to take a minute, you could plot out like where they would land, and we'd put you in like column A, we would put you in group A, and that group you should really probably wait a half an hour when all is said and done if we've timed it correctly. And then group B follows. We had it so that the pen was actually like carted off so that you couldn't even get in. Unless you had a ticket. That way you weren't like mulling around, right? Or trying to like jump into lines without a ticket or anything like that. That was the one drawback. You don't get those like incremental, hey, I'm just meandering by a table and maybe I'll go up and see them. We allowed that for certain actors, like after all your pre-orders were fulfilled. So like your first hour would be like pre-order only, and then it opens up. But like you really have to manage that and like have someone managing like the pen, as we were calling it. And in fact, someone like Hayden, who sold out, had no pen. You had a pre-order only and you're showing up in your time. And if you were group D and we were only up to group C, we weren't letting you in. Like, stand somewhere else. Like it's very that. And you sort of have to manage it that way, because how often is Hayden doing conventions? If he does 2 a year, it's a lot.
So we know that Martin wants an autograph from MVO. We want Jed wants an autograph from you, and Mark from Ash. Who's the guest that you want an autograph from?
Ooh, I've got Carrie Fisher. I got Carrie Fisher's autograph on an airplane once, so like I can't beat that.
You want Femi's?
Who?
You want Femi Taylor?
That's my.
I do want. I do want Femi Taylor's. Yeah, that's true. I've got the. Because I could, if I wanted to rant about Hasbro and their nonsense about canceling certain action figures, Stan Solo has produced the best vintage style Ula that you can possibly buy, and I would want to get that signed by Femi actually. So yeah, I'll get that signed.
She's gorgeous too. She hasn't aged a day. 40 years later, she looks exactly the same. And my understanding is that she can still do the dance. Like she's on Instagram all the time. So yeah, she seems like she'd be fun to meet. Like someone you actually want to have like up on stage doing karaoke or something.
So I went to Celebration in Essen, and it was my first celebration, and I had a poster to sign that my friends had got me for my 40th birthday, and it's amazing the signatures looking back on it now. But when I went to get Femi's autograph, she was the first person I said, actually, this is my 40th birthday present. She didn't even acknowledge it until I read what she'd written, and she went, to Martin, welcome to the naughty 40s. And I think that sums her up quite well.
She seems really fun, just like her character. That's what I like. If you have time, and this is a sort of recommendation, anyone going to Celebration, spend some time meeting like the Creature Shop people. They have some of the best stories. They're also like beloved in the fandom, and they have like you know, if you're known for that one thing, you know, and you get to do the circuits, they've been all over the world. Like the number of places they've probably been rivals a rock band, right? They play at all these venues, they meet all of these fans, and they get all these like one-on-one stories. Like they have some of the best, and usually you get to spend like a minute or two, where sometimes like it can be very quick sign and you're out the door and you barely get to wave to General Kenobi, right? Like you get in the picture, you go and you're done. You might get a minute to talk to Femi.
Yeah. And you
Guys,
get great stories.
An interesting point you guys have brought up as well, and I suppose it's something we should maybe touch on as well. And Spence, I think we talked about this briefly as well, is with respect to the layout of Celebration, as we mentioned in 2016, it wasn't used to capacity in any way, shape, or form. So I know the autographs are still being announced, but I think a point of interest for a lot of people is the amount of potential auditorium/panel space that could be on show when the layout comes. I think that's going to be really telling as well in terms of if they're using the capacity more so for panel/auditorium space. Does that mean that there are much more surprises along the way than we're anticipating?
Yeah, well, they do traditionally build effectively an arena, don't they, in the EXL for celebrations. So, like I say, if you've gone to MCM, which is also Reed Pop, and it's one of the signature conventions in the UK, you can see them building it out and getting much more panel focused. I think that's fair, isn't it, Jed? You've hosted a few there yourself, haven't you? So
I have on the biggest stage and the smaller stages. It's a sight to behold. And I think we live in a world now where you don't go a week without something new from Star Wars coming out. So they have a lot of things they can say, a lot of panels they could potentially have, and lots of surprises and announcements. So
do you think they would do what they did with Kenobi and screen one of the Mando episodes in the big on the big screen?
Well, we have Wednesday night before the day before Arbunta is another episode of Mando. So it's very, very possible that they could do that, or maybe something with Ahsoka, as we were talking about, that they're kind of leaking the week before with Hayden and Rosario to do something, obviously, maybe in a panel or the opening panel, or
they've got to do an Ahsoka panel, and I expect. I'd be actually disappointed if they don't give us our first proper Ahsoka trailer.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I mean, that's got to be.
Well, we want to know, which was a question from Anaheim, who's playing Thrawn? Like, seriously,
we all know that.
Well, I wanted Benedict Cumberbatch, so that was just me. But
I'm still Team Matt Smith all the way.
Do you guys seriously not know?
I know. I'm a licensee. So by the way, if I did know, I couldn't say anything. They'd have to kill me. I'd have to bite into my cyanide chip like that clone in Bad Batch.
Lawrence is saying he's not doing it, but know
how. Well, yeah, but Qui-Gon Jinn said he wasn't in Kenobi.
Exactly.
Lars, I think Rebels fans are going to be happy. I'm pretty.
Well, you got Mrs. Ewan McGregor playing Hera, and that's basically been like one of the worst kept secrets around in there. But here's a question for Martin: is there any way to divert Sir Elton's travel plans so he goes to the wrong O2 and shows up at Cantina?
He's there that night, right?
He is there, and actually, you've asked the question to the wrong person, because, as always, Mark's the connected person. So I think Elton knows we're playing, doesn't he? Didn't you sort of say that there's joint managers and friends in contact and stuff that messages have got through? But
there's friends of friends.
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect Elton to be turning up. But if I was going to bet on something, and again, this is a little side thing for me, imagining that we're going to have costumers and all sorts of weird things. The Indigo is in the entrance to the arena, so you're going to get all these Elton John fans turning up for the Elton John gig, seeing what's going on at the Indigo. So my dream is we find out that in some way, shape, or form, Elton John says, "Did anyone see the weird stuff going on?"
Yeah.
Could we have Sir Elton show up during Kung Fu? Because that would be absolutely great.
I think he should come on dressed as a Mandalorian and do Rocket Man.
What is it?
Oh, there you go.
I see. I think of Elton, and I think of what you call her from Jabba's Palace, Yarna. What's that her name?
Oh,
the six-breasted dancer.
Oh,
What's
Well,
his
you want
name?
him dancing on
Well,
stage?
I think he could do. I think he could dress up like her pretty well.
That's the thing. Like, people are going to be wearing costumes to the Elton John concert also.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a very well dressed event, just like the Star Wars event. It's going to be interesting to see that intersection.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
there is definitely venue rivalry going on. From when we've spoken to the Indigo, they
Yeah.
want the Elton John fans to be looking at the Indigo, going, "What is going on there?"
Yeah. I think it would take a lot to shock an Elton John fan. But yes, I think that's what I love about the conventions, all the costuming and the cosplay and the way that people really get deep into it, and you like display their fandom. So I are you guys going to do prizes for like best costumes and stuff like that?
Yeah, we're looking at again, we're setting expectations. We're looking at being armed with things where if we see something we like, that we have ability to say, "Well done, thank you for contributing to the evening." So there
Gotcha.
won't be a formal thing, but
Right, no contest, but just
Yeah.
be on the lookout for Martin. So everyone who's going, just keep looking and keep running into him, and maybe he'll give you.
yeah,
Look
might-
at a taco shirt. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
yeah.
there might be some sort of prize from the stage. I mean, the thing is, it
Yeah.
might not be like formally a a thing,
Well-
but it might just be a thing that happens on the night.
But we are, and we did this at the first one. We've just started. We're running weekly contests prior to the gig. So last week, we're giving away it closes tonight. Signed copies of Republic Commando single, isn't it? Commando CDR, which I've never seen before. Mark had them. I'm like, I want to enter that competition. And then we're doing the next one tomorrow, which I think it's okay for me to say on here, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah,
What the next
yeah.
one's going to be?
Yeah.
So obviously Ash have done Republic Commando, so we're going to be giving away a signed Black Series. Is it Sev? I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
very
that
cool.
and 2 free tickets to Hash Cantina
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
the main.
Oh, you
competition.
buried the
Yeah.
lead.
Yeah.
That's what people are
Just
looking
casually
for.
in there.
So
Yeah.
every
Martin, you
week
don't
until
copy the CD. Don't you know anybody?
I know. That's
true.
why I want to enter.
But every week we're doing a competition where we give away a pair of tickets to Cantina
Yeah.
plus something special. So it's either a Star Wars related thing, an Ash related thing, mostly both,
Both together.
and signed and all that stuff. So yeah, and mostly all you have to do is like retweet the post or tag in 3 friends or something across all the socials.
And
But
that's
we did
was-
that last time, and it was just nice to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask you guys is like, where can we follow to win tickets, enter the contest, and keep up with all the news for Cantina 2?
So on Facebook, basically, if you look up #Cantina, you'll find us. But it's This Is Cantina is the official line. Instagram, it's This Is Cantina as well, and Twitter, it's This Is Cantina.
Oh, that's easy. All right.
We've kept it consistent. But #Cantina obviously is quite easy to pick up because of the hashtag.
Yeah, and then our website's www.thisiscantina.com.
Yeah.
And all the links to the socials are also at the bottom of the site as well.
Yeah.
So if you can't remember the words This Is Cantina, go to our website, which is called This Is Cantina. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're out there.
And the
As soon as you
hashtag
find
Cantina
us.
will get you there.
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. Well, very cool. We do have a couple of notes before we close out tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. And I know you're overseas too. It's Saturday night in England right now. I'm just starting my day. I slept till like 10 o'clock and I was like, I gotta do the show. So I'm just getting started over here, but we have a couple things to remind everyone of before we say goodbye for today. First up, if you do want to learn more about everything happening in the Autograph Hall, tune into Frank's show on Monday night right here on the VCN. He's going to do a deep dive into all the signers that were just announced. And we also started a Google Doc. If you guys are big nerds, and it looks like all of you are like me, there's a Google Doc that tracks all of the signers, their prices, and what part of the saga they're in. So you can see like, what they're in and what you might want to get signed. So the Google Doc is live. We can put that in the chat.
And if the autographs are too expensive, for about half the price or less of any of the autographs, you can just come to Cantina and have the best
there we go.
and experience
done.
the
There you
best,
go.
most immersive party
Exactly.
that's ever been thrown.
Don't even go to Celebration. Fly to England, go to Boonta Eve, go to Cantina 2, and you just hang out at the wharf.
That sounds like my Anaheim.
Yeah. Pretty much, with your days 0 and 1 of Celebration. Also, quick reminder, the ticket mailing deadline for Celebration is actually tomorrow. So Sunday, the 12th of February is your last chance to mail your tickets. Otherwise, you have to pick them up at will call, and you do not want to do that. So if you've gotten tickets for Star Wars Celebration, please get that info over there so that they mail you your tickets. And then separately, Gary has an announcement about Blob of the Hut.
Yeah, also, so stay tuned there will be an upcoming announcement that is an upcoming episode that is going to be recorded with the folks from the virtual Cantina network. And stay tuned for that. We're going to be discussing all things Boonta Eve and everything Spencer has planned that he hasn't told us just yet. But also some exciting announcements for Boonta Eve as well, in that we are announcing a Boonta Eve hyperspace ticket.
Yes.
So for $29, everything with VAT included, which is equating to, what are we paying to Spencer? About £24, give or take, all in.
24 pounds. So basically, we sold out Boonta Eve in less than 3 days, which we were very appreciative of that. And yes, we're going to be at the Breakfast Club in Canary Wharf the night before Celebration. That if you were looking to come to Boonta, that from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30, we're going to be offering a first come, first serve ticket, which will get you into the evening aspect of Boonta Eve, which will include live sets from DJ Level Up Leroy and our Alderaan Idol karaoke competition as well. So for $29 US, 24 pounds, you can come in and party, for a couple hours with us the night before. Once again, it is going to be first come, first serve. We will not know how many door tickets we'll be able to sell until probably, I would say, 30 minutes to an hour beforehand. But, it's Canary Wharf as well. So, there's plenty of things to do. You can go get a picture, at the tube stop, before where they film Rogue One, or spots from Andor. So Canary Wharf is rich in, in Star Wars history. But yeah, we're happy to accommodate everybody. But as we mentioned before, us at the VCN are very excited that we're going to be opening up Celebration Week for you guys and capping it off with an incredible event with #Cantina. So you want to get to these events if you're able to get to all of them, one of them, whatever. It's going to be a fantastic event, and I'm excited to have personally, my first convention overseas. I actually have not been to London in 32 years. So this is very exciting for me personally.
Nice.
And I have to say is that a little bit of fanboy thing. I was texting with Martin the other day, and as I was driving, I had to send him a photo of what was playing on my iPod at the time. Yes, I still carry an iPod. And I was listening to Clone. So it just worked out perfectly that it just happened that way. So we're always on the same wavelength when it comes to Star Wars-esque type stuff.
Oh,
Very
Spencer,
cool.
speaking of Alderaan Idol, we are accepting video submissions up till the 1st of March. Is that correct for the preliminary round?
Correct. So we are doing a live show on the 8th of March with our friends from Skywalking Through Neverland. If you are interested in being involved in round 1 of Idol at Boonta, we are asking you to submit a song. No pub footage, please, because the sound quality does not translate very well. It's very pub. And we will choose the top 10 singers who will perform as part of Alderaan Idol. But if you're not chosen for Idol, we will have open karaoke as well available for you that night.
Very nice. Look, we have some great events. Got the Boonta Eve, got the Cantina 2, Celebration itself, lots of autographs, lots of great
What's
people
the
to meet.
celebration
It's gonna be
thing?
great.
That's just to keep you busy during the day now.
Just a
Isn't
little thing in the day.
Yeah.
I think you should get drunk at Boonta, sleep for 4 days, and just go to Cantina. I mean,
Yeah, if you're flying all the way over to London, you may as well do the big things. So, but I just wanted to say thank you everyone for joining us today. This has been fantastic meeting, talking with all of you. Martin, Jed, Mark. We'll make sure we put all of your social channels on there, but follow at This Is Cantina across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything to get the latest news on Cantina. Obviously, everyone check out all the programming coming on the virtual Cantina this week. We've got the show on Monday about celebrating autographs with Frank. I'm also on Monday night with Star Wars Rebels Revisited, and then another watch along on Thursday. And then the Intergalactic News Desk will return in about 2 weeks, or if we have some other big breaking news that we need to jump in with. But you can expect to see us probably on the 25th of February.
Awesome. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Mark from Ash, anything you want to close out with tonight?
Thanks for having us, and thanks for helping us give the Cantina a bit of promotion and love. We're excited to be doing it. Can't wait. It's like it always seemed quite far off, but it's getting very close. It's only, you said, like less than 2 months now, and hope to meet a lot of you guys there. And I'm just excited for some of the photo ops that we've got planned, because I want those photographs for myself.
Good. Thank you very much for joining us today. Anything you want to close out with today, sir?
All right, I think that's...
No, Jed, you want to say anything?
Oh, sorry. Like it's kind of slightly. Oh yeah. I just want to say, thanks for having us on, and I'm very much looking forward to see what crazy stuff, because a lot of the things we won't know until a lot closer to the time as well. But if honestly, if 50% of the things that we want to do happens the way we want it, it's going to be like a once in a lifetime thing. So if you haven't got your Cantina tickets yet, just log on to This Is Cantina now. You get it now before it's too late, and don't even ask your friends, just buy them tickets too. They'll want to come.
And Martin.
Yeah, so I'm not going to push it in the same way the other guys have. I'm going to say thank you very much for your support. Gary and Spencer obviously have been supporting the whole way through. Really appreciate that. And Mark, I always feel like I've got a friend in New York, even when I'm not over there. You're one of the kindest, generous people I've ever met. So thank you very much. It's great to be speaking to you again.
Yeah, it's so good seeing you. We'll call this in real life because it's been way too long. So I'm hoping to find my way over there. But please say hello to everyone else at Fantha and the rest of the crew. I loved seeing you guys in Celebration in 2022. And I can't believe that was like a year ago, like basically. So we've got to get the band back together. Absolutely.
Yes. We'll see you at Cantina anyway, so it's all right.
I'll keep everyone posted on the GoFundMe. All right, I think that does it for today. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us, our special guests. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Be sure to check out the VCN throughout the week for all of our programming. And we will see you on the news desk in about 2 weeks. So from Spencer, Gary, Martin, Jed, and Mark, we all want to say, may the force be with you.
And you.